Right now at 6, a public meeting in Miami looks at recurring flood issues in the town.
And roads continuing to improve across the area, but still a number of closings, cancellations out there. We'll take a look at those road conditions and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, how some area businesses are faring after the winter storm.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Friday. It's finally Friday here in the 4 states. It is February the 21st, and it is going to be slightly warmer today than where we were yesterday. We've got almost, it's approximate, but we've got about 10-degree increments over the next several days through today, through the weekend, and into next week until we finally just cap out at some very nice temperatures.
Yep, very nice indeed. I'm excited for it.
Just a few more days, man. It's going to be wonderful. I don't want the weekend to fly by, but at the same time, I am ready for Monday. And if you are just joining us, you'll find out why we're ready for Monday here in a few more minutes. But first, we've got to get you ready for Friday, and it is still cold outside. And while road conditions have improved significantly, you can see downtown Pittsburgh, there's still going to be some slick spots out there. We still had some snow in some of the areas out there as well. See, right down the middle of the road, which also is going into the left turn lane. So if you're not being careful, you could run into these changing road conditions. Now, like I said, 90% of the roadways are pretty clear, just like you're seeing here. They're 90% clear, but you're going to run into spots, and it's not just in Pittsburgh, it's everywhere where it's not going to be 100% clear, and you've got to just be careful out there. And the other issue with all those closings, cancellations, of things is not the main roads, it's the side roads. We just haven't been able to get really any melting done because I don't know if anybody went outside yesterday, but if you had to, you probably noticed it was extremely cold. That's why we're not getting any melting done, but we will. We'll start to get some melting done. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looks pretty good as well. But again, like that right turn lane here, if you're not cautious, it could end up biting you in the rear if you're going too fast around those curves. In terms of the actual road conditions, I remember these are just mainly onto the highways. These don't include back roads, city streets, things like that. But most of southeast Kansas now reported as clear. Still some wet pavement around Mound City and then back through parts of Cherokee and Labette counties, rather. And then that little stretch of 171 from 69 to the state line is listed as partially covered. On the Missouri side, continuing to see improvements around the Cassville area, slowly but surely, but still some partly covered roadways down there. Otherwise, clear from MoDOT. But again, I personally encountered some slick spots here and there. It's hit and miss. Like I said, it's 90 to 95% clear, but you still want to watch out. Cold weather advisories for Oklahoma and Arkansas, and those will run through 9 o'clock this morning. And because it's very cold outside, while partly cloudy skies gradually clearing, we will be warmer today. Like I said, it's almost 10 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday, and it will be about 10 degrees warmer each day for the next few days until we get to about Monday, and temperatures will start to level out for us. Still cold out there, though. Still well below average, as we should be about 50, and we're not going to be near that today. Temperatures, again, getting pretty cold. We've fallen below zero in some locations. Pittsburgh, Lamar, Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, all below zero, others into the single digits. But take a look at the wind chills. Stockton, for example, your wind chill is 1 degree warmer than your air temperature because the winds are calm. So we are seeing that improvement. That's the nice thing, because yesterday these wind chills were almost 30 below zero at this time yesterday. So still bitterly cold, but definitely an improvement. Highs today, mid-upper 20s, partly cloudy skies, gradually clearing. Clear skies overnight, which means it will be cold again tonight, but then we're going to be another 10 degrees warmer tomorrow. We'll have more on that warming trend, just how warm it's going to get, maybe some rain chances next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon, Chris. Well, it's been a problem and the source of frustration for years. The recurring issue of flooding was the topic of a town hall meeting in Miami last night. Now, last night's meeting comes amid ongoing litigation between the city of Miami and the Grand River Dam Authority. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
The damage has been done. GRDA has flooded us. They've done it willingly, they've done it knowingly, and they've done it with intent.
The city of Miami held a town hall meeting where community members could make their voices heard about the flooding their community has been dealing with for years.
It's caused economic damage. It's caused people to not be able to have homes anymore. They had to have homes destroyed or spend months repairing it or move altogether.
And the lawyer for the city says the cause of all the flooding is the Grand River Authority, who controls the Pensacola Dam. The Pensacola Dam holds the water in Grand Lake.
That GRDA is causing dam-caused flooding, and the GRDA needs to be held accountable, and they either need to address those issues.
The city says this is a result of the GRDA's mismanagement of the waterway and their current license.
We want there to be rules and regulations to them operating this dam, and we want them to be followed. Right now, there's rules and regulations been put in place, but they don't follow any of them.
At the town meeting, they asked that the community share their input on proposed Federal Energy Regulatory Commission license conditions.
Just to give their thoughts as to what improvements they think would be available or would make the city better, so that those can then be presented to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission so that they can be considered as part of the relicensing process.
Over 400 people and businesses who have suffered as a result of the flooding have filed a civil suit against the GRDA. This is still ongoing.
Our main goal is for Miami not to flood.
The goal of the meeting was to answer questions from the public and hear the experiences of those who have struggled with flooding. Reporting in Miami, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Last year, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission found that the Pensacola Dam project had increased flooding around Miami. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. While a lot of main roads and highways are mostly clear, plenty of secondary and rural roads look like this. Now, many are snow-packed and dangerous. This was in Crawford County yesterday, and even in areas that appear to be mostly clear, these extremely cold temperatures can create a potentially hazardous glaze. The plow operators have been hard at work, many working long shifts. Now, this is downtown Pittsburgh, where crews have managed to mostly clear the roads for traffic. And the term for what's left behind, a windrow. Now, it's the discharge, creating a snow barrier between the lanes. The scene is similar in communities across the 4 states. You can get the latest road conditions and power outages across the area anytime through this QR code. It'll direct you to links on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for information for each of the 4 states in our viewing area. Also, for a full list of closings in the area due to winter weather, just scan this QR code for school, government, church closings, and more. The QR code will take you straight to the closings page of our website, and once there, you can also find instructions on how to submit other closings. Well, the wintry conditions forced several businesses across the 4 states to close their doors, creating challenges for both owners and employees. Now that they've reopened, we visited some Joplin businesses and spoke with customers to see just how thrilled they are to return to their favorite places.
Oh, it's great. We have a really decent customer base. A lot of regulars. I've already had a few this morning come in. And we do a lot of to-go orders, DoorDash and otherwise. I've actually had a couple of downtown businesses already come in and ask for a couple of orders.
Ever since things started opening back up yesterday, I was able to get out of the house for a little bit and get to do some remote work at one of my favorite coffee shops, Joplin Avenue Coffee. Support local if you can. It's great to get out if you can.
Businesses we spoke to said that Facebook played the largest role in letting customers know they were back open again. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Walmart predicts a slower growth in 2025 due to inflations and tariffs. Plus, thousands of federal workers await job decisions after mass firings are allowed to continue. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Friday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning. Shoppers flooded to Walmart for groceries and clothing last year, but now the retail giant is warning of a slower 2025. Now, Walmart is the largest retailer in the United States and a bellwether for consumer spending. Now, Walmart said Thursday its sales and profit growth are expected to decrease this year, partly due to inflation ticking back up and President Trump's tariffs. Now, Walmart projected outlook is a signal for the result of the retail industry that 2025 will be a rockier year. Consumer prices rose 0.5 percentage point last month from December. That's the fastest pace in more than a year. Well, this month, home builder confidence decreased amid President Trump's aggressive approach to tariffs. The National Association of Home Builders Wells Fargo Housing Market Index measures builder confidence. Now, the index fell to its lowest level in 5 months. Now, this month, the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S. The move could worsen America's housing shortage. Uncertainty over tariffs comes on top of persistently high mortgage rates hindering sales. This morning, thousands of federal workers are still waiting to find out if their jobs will be taken away. A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration can continue its mass firings, though he acknowledged that the Trump administration's actions have caused disruption and even chaos in its first month. Now, yesterday, President Donald Trump and his senior advisor, billionaire Elon Musk, took another victory lap in Washington, D.C. Musk even brandished a chainsaw. Now, Jared Hill has more from New York.
Elon Musk whipped out a chainsaw at a conservative conference Thursday.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
As a federal judge said his and President Donald Trump's efforts to hack through the federal workforce can proceed. Earlier, the president praised Doge's efforts at a Black History Month event.
Elon Musk has done an amazing job, I have to tell you. Him and his super geniuses.
CBS News has found that more than 12,000 federal jobs have been eliminated or are expected to be terminated, including more than 6,000 IRS workers this week. Most laid off have been recent hires with probationary status, like Katie Sandlin. She only recently moved to the D.C. area from Alabama to work as an educator at the National Institutes of Health, given a termination letter that claimed your performance has not been adequate to justify further employment at the agency. She says her supervisor said there was no problem with her work.
We do important work, we're impactful, and if you have questions or concerns about federal workers, ask one.
Our new administration has accomplished more than most administrations do in 4 years.
Last night, President Trump played up his first month on the job at a Republican governors meeting, including progress on immigration.
We began the largest deportation operation in American history.
U.S. Border Patrol tells CBS News crossings have dropped 94% compared to the same time last year. A downward trend started under the previous administration. Jared Hill, CBS News.
CBS News has confirmed that the U.S. Marshals Service has deputized members of Elon Musk's private security detail, according to 4 sources. Musk has reportedly faced heightened death threats in recent weeks. The move grants his team certain rights and protections of federal law enforcement agents. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, one thing we've been talking about nearly all week long is road conditions. They are continuing to improve, but a number of side roads, back roads, not all that great yet. That's why we still have a number of closings and cancellations. We'll have another look at your forecast. We'll talk about when we'll be able to get rid of some of this snow in just a few more minutes.
Well, coaches and players in Colorado Springs got their first look at new helmets being donated by an NFL team. The Denver Broncos Foundation is giving free top-of-the-line gear to local high school teams. Jared Dean has more.
To be able to come in and give them the top-of-the-line gear that maybe we don't always have the access to for our athletes here at Mitchell High School. So I know it's something huge for our community.
Coaches and players from across the Pikes Peak region got their first look at new helmets they will be getting from the Denver Broncos Foundation for free, something players like Rylan Hawley appreciate.
During last season I had a few head injuries, and now that we have better helmets, I'm hoping to see less of that. Definitely bring some reassurance to the sport.
The helmets are each one of a kind, designed with players' safety in mind. Each helmet will be fitted to the player's head to ensure fit. Rydell says the helmets do not use air as a layer of protection, which increases the padding and decreases the impact on the players.
That's a risk, that's out there is concussions and all this technology coming out about CTE and stuff. So we're really trying to protect the kids, and I think this is a huge step forward with that.
The Broncos say the helmets also come with technology to help coaches track performance and head impact.
I hope that those that are learning about the project understand the statewide scope of it. This is the first time that the foundation has been able to do something reaching every single corner of the state and impacting this many students at one time.
The schools will start fitting their players with the helmets later this semester, and the helmets will be distributed late spring or early summer. Let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, take a look at these wind chills. Now, I know that it's not great. I know it's still cold. But remember, this time yesterday, these wind chills sitting about 30 below zero. So big improvements, bigger ones on the way. A look at your forecast right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:22 now on this finally Friday, and we still have some slick spots. That's something I do want to emphasize. Roads are 90 to 95% just fine. Well, let me rephrase too. The main roads are. But you're still going to run into some spots like this, especially center lanes and right turn lanes where it's not 100%. And if you're not careful, you're not watching where you're going, you're going to run into some of this and you may not be able to stop, even though this is that great thing of just, that point of deception. See how clear Broadway is? Road crews have done a phenomenal job. But like I said, you're going to run into this stuff. And if you're just cruising right along, not paying attention, you go to make a left turn, you may be in for a surprise. So please still watch out where you're going. Be cautious out there. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline is actually giving us a beautiful view of the sunrise this morning. We got some of those clouds out there. They will eventually go away. And then we'll have a pretty decent day, just still a bit on the cold side. Quick look at road conditions from the KDOT side. Again, the blue here representing clear roadways. We got a lot of those. Still some wet pavement or seasonal conditions, as KDOT calls it, up around Mound City, and then parts of Cherokee and Labette counties as well. And then that little sliver of 171 or K171 from 69 to the state line is still listed as partly covered. Over to the Missouri side in our area, we still have some partly covered roadways around Cassville into Berry County. Outside of that, MoDOT reporting clear roads. Now, again, I will say the route I took coming up 249 to 171, it was 95% clear. A couple of slick spots, yes, but that's why I'm saying you still want to watch out. We have cold weather advisories for Oklahoma and Arkansas. These will run through 9 o'clock this morning because, well, if you haven't been outside yet, it's cold. Now, a lot of you probably haven't been outside a lot this week, and I know the kids are getting cabin fever, and I am sorry. I feel like I jinxed it, but I knew Monday that it was very likely the kids wouldn't be going to school all week. I told my kids, I told my wife, I said, I don't think they're going to be going to school at all this week. Not because we're expecting necessarily 6 feet of snow, but because it was going to be so cold, I knew the snow wouldn't go anywhere. And a lot of municipalities don't have the resources to take care of all their side streets. I mean, you think Joplin alone, it's 60 blocks from west to east and another 100 from north to south, and how many side roads are built into all that? There's no way to get to all of it, and that's just here. Buses can't make it. Garbage trucks can't make it. But today, we'll get a little melting done. Now, I know we're going to be below freezing, but take a look. As skies clear, we'll get quite a fair amount of sunshine for some of us out there. Even more sunshine tomorrow. So, yeah, we're going to be cold again tonight. Very cold tonight. Southwest winds start gusting tomorrow, but then we have these clear skies. We're talking plenty of sunshine. We're going to go above freezing out there. We're going to finally start to get some melting done, and that will continue as we go into Sunday and into Monday as well. Hopefully, by Tuesday of next week, we should be just about done with the snow, except for those big piles of the plowed snow. Temperatures this morning, we do have some of us below zero. Iola, Fort Scott, Nevada, Stockton, Lamar, Pittsburgh, below zero out there. But look at the wind chills. They're almost the same in some cases. And I mentioned Iola was below zero, but look at your wind chill. It's zero. Technically, it's a heat index, but obviously not that big of a deal. But that's kind of the point here is the wind chills aren't as bad as they were. We were 30 below zero this time yesterday. The winds are calm. They will remain that way today. Partly cloudy skies, kind of like what we're seeing right now. Single digits to start, upper teens by 11. And I'll tell you, too, as I was plugging in these numbers, because like I've said, that's why there's been mistakes sometimes. We punch all these numbers in by hand. These are all about 10 degrees warmer than what they were at these points yesterday. Highs today, upper 20s. And again, just gradually clearing skies. Clear skies through the evening. We're down into the teens, upper teens by 10. We'll be in the low teens overnight tonight. Now, we'll have that south wind at 5 to 10, so it will put our wind chills back into the single digits. So it's another very cold night. But our warming trend continues. Like I say, it's approximately 10 degrees all the way into Monday. Upper 30s tomorrow, upper 40s, about 50 on Sunday, upper 50s, low 60s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rain possible Wednesday, and then after that, 50s and 60s. We're going to be able to get rid of this snow, and by golly, it is going to feel so wonderful next week. I wouldn't be surprised if half of people just called in on Monday because it's going to be such a beautiful day. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now, who's got Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the racial gap in cancer deaths still exists, but it's growing smaller. A study by the American Cancer Society found black men and women still have twice the risk of death than white men and women for prostate, uterine, and stomach cancer. But overall, deaths are lower due to advances in treatment and detection and a decline in cigarette use among black teens. Long-term daily users of cannabis are at risk of serious health problems. A study by George Washington University found a condition called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome is on the rise. Now, as the number of daily cannabis users increases in the U.S., the illness causes nausea, vomiting, and excruciating pain and requires repeated trips to the hospital. Well, our workplace conflicts don't just affect our health, but our spouses as well. A study by the University of East Anglia found workplace bullying often causes employees to lose sleep, but that insomnia can, in a way, be contagious. When one partner loses sleep, the other one does too, which can have a negative impact on daily life. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, a local business explains how the cold can affect your pipes and heating system.
And road conditions, again, continuing to improve. Still some slick spots out there. We'll have a look at that. Plus the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, there's no business like snow business for some Carthage kids shoveling snow for their neighbors.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Friday, February the 21st. Yeah, no kidding.
Friday.
My gosh,
Woo.
What a week it has been. It's just... I'm done with it. I'm sure you folks are probably done with it too. I'm sure the kids are done with it. You know, I know the kids enjoy being out of school, but you know, a full week of it,
full week unplanned.
when you're unplanned. Yeah, spring break's different. You know, you're looking forward to that. You're in class. You know what's coming. This was unexpected, and you know, it's just oh boy. Yeah.
It messes things up. It really does. I mean, it did.
It did. It really did. It's turned things upside down. But the good news is things are going to be turning right side up, and that begins now, today. That's what we're doing. Let's start, though, with a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Now, we've talked about this. The roads are about 90% clear, but there's still going to be some slick spots out there. And there's going to be some areas that still aren't 100% because it's been really cold, not a lot of melting taking place. And so we got to contend with that situation going on. And we're going to show that to you. I promise. See, there it is. I told you we would. Trevor, is that you? Is that Trevor standing there? I think that's Trevor. The reason I'm saying this, Trevor was in there. Yeah, it's Trevor. He's waving. I don't know what he was doing, but I could see it out of the corner of my eye. There's a window into our control room right here. And Trevor's back there, and I don't know what was going on, but there was some kind of song and dance, and I was intrigued. I was interested. I'll have to go find out. In the meantime, we'll tell you about this. Look at that. This is what we're worried about, is just these slick spots. Now, this is fairly obvious. You can see the snow, okay? But there's still cases of black ice, too, in other areas where you're not necessarily going to be able to see it. So you've still got to slow down. You got to be cautious. Just be aware. And, of course, side streets, that's the reason, number one reason, we have all those cancellations and closings again, is because the side streets are still difficult to get through. I mean, my car made it through, had some issues here and there, like it was a slow go. So you got to be cautious and keep in mind too, trash service, for example, probably a lot of that not running here. And even if it was, I know I can't get my trash cans from my house to the street anyway. Now the main roads, again, major improvements, but still you got to watch out. Here's what we are looking at. We still have some wet pavement or seasonal conditions around Mound City and then into parts of Cherokee and Labette counties. And then that little stretch of K171 here is still listed as partly covered. On the Missouri side, clear is what's being reported in our area with the exception of around Cassville and parts of Berry County where we're still listed as partly covered on some of these roadways. But again, improvements. We do have cold weather advisories, Oklahoma and Arkansas through 9 o'clock this morning because it is still pretty darn cold out there. We will be well below normal today, but we are going to be warmer today than where we were yesterday. Partly cloudy skies gradually clearing for all of us. Still another cold night ahead, but again, improvements, especially compared to yesterday. Now, I know this doesn't look like improvements. These are pretty cold temperatures. We've got Stockton, Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Iola, all below zero this morning. But look at your wind chills. Iola is a great example of this. Your wind chill is zero. You're actually a degree or so warmer in your wind chill because the winds are calm. We're not dealing with that 30 below zero like we saw yesterday, which is great news. Winds calm today. Again, gradually clearing skies, still well below average. Should be about 50, but we're looking at upper 20s. We still have that warming trend on the way. We're going to talk about that. Maybe some rain chances next week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, don't be surprised if you happen to see a black bear if you're a Missouri resident. Experts say the black bear population in the Show Me State has grown over the last 10 years. The Missouri Department of Conservation say the population growth is a success story and credits the department for the state's bear management program. The department also says the growth is a good indicator for how people are doing.
So it's just the fact that we have the positive side of this thriving bear population is it means that we have a habitat that bears can thrive in. You know, I mean, if bear populations weren't doing well, that would probably mean that there's some concerns out there for humans too.
The department says the bear's primary range is in forested areas south of I-44. And the bitter cold can take its toll on your home's pipes and heating system. HVAC and plumbing companies see a rise in business during this time of year, fixing broken and frozen pipes as well as furnaces. While there are ways to protect your plumbing and heating, one business owner has a cautionary tale.
We had the heat on just like you're supposed to do, kept the water dripping, but unfortunately our pipes are on the outside of the building in a closet, and we actually have a heated fan in there as well, and it still didn't prevent it.
While cold weather preparation may not prevent all cold weather incidents, experts say do what you can. One thing you can do to help protect your furnace is to change your filters, and don't forget to keep fresh batteries in your thermostat. And while winter weather provides plenty of opportunity for snow day fun, it can also provide opportunity for kids to make some extra money. As you can see, these kids in Carthage dug into the chance to not only make some extra cash, but help out some neighbors as well.
It's great. I mean, instead of sitting around playing on their phones all day, they're out trying to make a difference, not only for themselves, but for other people.
And no word on just how much money the boys raked or shoveled in. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means, of course, Shannon Becker joins us with his big three stories of the week. And we have a cold and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big three stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Well, I tell you, I don't get, crazy religious often, but right. I thank the Lord for heat and shelter.
I know, right?
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. After this week.
Oh my
goodness.
I haven't remembered it this cold in a long time, so thank you so much to the Lord.
Absolutely.
You know. Let's take a look at the big three this week. What's happening where you live is about 3:30 a.m. Reports of a fire in Carthage. We're talking about those extreme temperatures.
Right.
That night it was -6. It felt like about -14.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one way into this rural neighborhood near Carthage, and they had equipment failure. Everything was froze up. They had an assisting department come and block the road because one of their trucks broke down and they couldn't get the water until some others could come and help.
And there were no fire hydrants in that area.
No fire hydrants. Yeah, if you live in a rural area outside of town, that's the perks of living in town. You have accessible water,
yes.
Obviously. They did as much as they could. The house was a total loss, but no one was injured in that fire, rural Carthage. Our number two story. We brought it to you from the beginning. We were live late that night, Saturday, when a man was shot and killed in Carthage, right behind Whistler's across the alley. Carthage police detectives then spent all night developing information. We've got breaking news for you this morning and an update. Not only do they have 5 witnesses to the shooting, also a neighbor filmed it on their cell phone.
Very interesting.
It happened in the front yard. There's a vehicle that was involved, and we were there the next morning when Elijah Hardy was taken into custody in Galena, Kansas, and that car still had blood on the hood.
Wow.
And they towed it from this residence here, you can see, in Galena. Of course, the young man who died, 22 years old, he was a father of a 3-year-old child. You can read more about that story. KOAM News Now. It's tragic, breaking news. KOAM News on our website. And then our number 1 story of the week, the big 3. It's a precious cargo. Is it gold? Is it silver? No, it's eggs.
Eggs. Oh, look at that.
The Will Rogers Turnpike on Tuesday and all the melee of everything. Yeah, look at that. That's like gold bullion, right?
I know.
There's a whole truck full of eggs that was rear-ended, destroyed, eggs all over the highway. And they froze so quickly, too. And of course, they're kind of slick if you've ever walked on eggs. I have, but maybe you haven't.
Only eggshells.
Yeah, walk on eggshells around. Yeah, exactly. So no one was injured, though, in those series of crashes. That was quite a day on Tuesday. And then our bonus story of the week, the Joplin tornado. I know a lot of us lived through it. March 19th, Netflix has announced they are releasing a documentary about it. It was filmed. Here's a picture from Norma's Diner. It was about 14 months ago. They filmed all their interviews there after hours, so it's kind of got that local flair.
Yes.
You can watch the film like everybody else. You got to be a member of Netflix or sign up for Netflix. Details are on our website. It's a Netflix documentary. It's called In the Eye of the Storm.
In the Eye of the Storm.
So I guess it's a different perspective of people who actually were in the middle of it all.
Very interesting.
So it'll be fascinating. And some people might not want to see it.
True.
It still
of
causes
course.
a lot of trauma for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, Shannon, as always, thank you so much for being with us this Friday morning. Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, time for some Friday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we are going to start in McCune with John Stewart celebrating birthday number 3. Says, "We love you, wild man."
And also turning 3 today in Parsons, a happy birthday to Raylan Fuentes. Says here, happy birthday, love your family.
And in Arma, Gracie Lovell celebrating birthday number 4. Happy birthday, Gracie.
And happy 5th birthday to Anthony Baglin in Fort Scott. It says, happy birthday from Mimi, Papa, Mommy, and Daddy.
And in Columbus, Cooper Miller celebrating birthday number 6. Looks like he is ready to celebrate. A very happy birthday to you, Cooper.
And in Sheldon, a happy 6th birthday to Loretta Beeson. It says, Grandma loves you bunches.
And in Joplin, Layla Lohman celebrating birthday number 7 today. It says, have the best day ever. Love Aunt Bibi, Uncle Rodney, and Percy.
And in Pittsburgh, a happy 18th birthday to Spencer Wade.
And in Coral Junction, Cole Burns celebrating birthday number 26. Says, happy birthday, Cole. Love Grandma and Grandpa.
And a happy 30th birthday to Brian Bubba Burns. Says, happy birthday from Mom and Dad.
And Marie Silvers celebrating birthday number 46. It says, happy birthday, Nana. We love you.
And in Chanute, a happy 75th birthday to Lois Donovan.
And we have Becky Ross in Riverton celebrating another year wiser. Says, happy birthday to the greatest daughter ever.
And in Oswego, a happy birthday to Crystal Addis. Says here, happy birthday, love your family.
And in St. Paul, Debbie Lopez celebrating a birthday. Says, love Carly, Kendall, Zoe, Scarlett, Evie, Violet, and Laszlo.
And a happy birthday to Jim Putnam. It says here, happy birthday, love Norma.
And our list continues with Diane Kinzer in Edna celebrating birthday number 76 with love from all of your family.
And a happy birthday to Stephanie Maxton.
And last but certainly not least, in Columbus, Ronnie Mercer celebrating a birthday today as well. Another great list of birthdays and anniversaries, and Elise has information if you'd like to participate.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Certainly important for all of that information. Let's take a quick look outside, shall we? We're going to start in downtown Pittsburgh, and we've got, again, roads are 95% clear. Main roads are. But we still have slick spots even on the main roads, and you can see that right here. Road crews have been doing their work. They've been working hard. They got a lot to do, but catching up. But you still have to watch out, because if you're getting ready to make a left turn here on Broadway, heading west on 4th, if you're not paying attention, you could be slipping and sliding, and this is not going to be the fun kind of slipping and sliding. We're talking the dangerous kind, and so you got to be careful. Got to go slow. Now, I know the speed limit on Broadway is slow, but I also know that some folks don't necessarily go the speed limit, and that's the case just about anywhere. So if you're not watching out, you're going to be into some trouble, more so than just that speeding ticket. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, again, looking good. Now, here's the other issue we're facing is we've got some snow buildup, like you saw in that left turn lane. Well, you know what? It sticks to tires and stuff, and what happens is, like this right turn lane here, coming off of range line onto 20th, see that little kind of like snow spray out onto the road? It's being carried a little bit. So that's going to cause slick spots that are going to be harder to see if you're heading out. Now, we can see all the lanes, which is great. We could not see this left turn lane yesterday. But still, you want to be careful. There's going to be some hit and miss slick spots. And, of course, back roads and side streets, neighborhood streets, they're not in the greatest shape right now. And that's why there are so many cancellations and closings still going down there. KDOT reporting clear roads for most of southeast Kansas, which is great. So got some wet pavement or some slick spots around Mound City, parts of Cherokee and Labette counties, and then 171, that little sliver there, still listed as partly covered. Now onto the Missouri side, Missouri reporting clear roads just about everywhere in our area around Cassville. You see we've got some partly covered roadways here around Cassville and parts of south central Berry County. So again, watch out. We have cold weather advisories. Thankfully, we don't have the extreme cold warnings again today, but we do have these cold weather advisories, Oklahoma and Arkansas through 9 a.m., and that is because, well, it's cold again, and it's going to be cold again tonight, but we are gradually going to improve. How are we going to improve? Well, it's just the way the world works, but Mother Nature trying to make up, I guess, for how bad it's been, because it's going to get really nice over the next several days. Partly cloudy skies today. Calm winds. These skies will gradually clear for us out there. So some of you get a little more sunshine than others. Now the thermal radiation from just the sun's heat, we won't necessarily feel it, but it will help melt some of that snow. It helped a little yesterday. It will help more so today, and even more so as we start to climb above freezing tomorrow. So still well below normal, and we're going to be well below normal until we get to about Sunday. But temperatures, again, will gradually improve. Very cold tonight. We'll have south winds 5 to 10. It's going to put those wind chills back into the single digits for most of us, so bitterly cold. The southwest winds Saturday will begin to increase, gusting to 20, but that'll start to help bring in even warmer air, and temperatures will begin to rise above freezing, and maybe our southern counties even some low 40s. That will certainly help with melting, and that warming trend will continue as we head into Sunday as well. So we're going to start Sunday morning. Yeah, the 20s are cold, but considering that the 20s are our highs today, it's not a bad way to start the day. And as we go through our Sunday, take a look at noon. Here we are at noon. We've got low, mid, and even some upper 40s by noon on Sunday, with those highs getting right around 50 degrees. Look at this at 4:30. Isn't that beautiful? I love those numbers. Those numbers are now some of my favorite numbers. But we still have to get through today and tomorrow, and we'll start getting there. Temperatures this morning, some of us still below zero. Stockton, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, and Iola. But you look at those wind chills, we're starting to get some. Feels like 13 below in Iola, but most of us doing pretty good so far in terms of those wind chills, because, again, the winds will be calm as we go through today. Single digits to start, upper teens by 11 a.m., partly cloudy skies. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about the even warmer weather next week, plus the news you need to know. When we switch over to Fox 14, we're on KOM. When we go to Fox 14 at 7, we're going to see how a group of women in Minnesota are breaking barriers in the construction industry.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Miami held a town hall meeting last night about flooding issues in town. The mayor says the Grand River Dam Authority, a power electric utility, has been flooding Miami for decades. The mayor, along with the city's legal team, took some time to hear from the public about the impacts the flooding may have had on them. The bitter cold can also take its toll on your home's pipes and heating system. HVAC and plumbing companies see a rise in business during this time of year, fixing broken and frozen pipes as well as furnaces. And one business owner says one thing you can do to help protect your furnace is to change your filters. And don't forget to keep fresh batteries in your thermostat. And don't be surprised if you happen to see a black bear if you are a Missouri resident. The black bear population in the Show Me State has grown over the last 10 years. The Missouri Department of Conservation say the population growth is a success story and credits the department for the state's bear management program. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, very cold this morning, not great this afternoon, but better. So we go into the upper 20s. Winds will be calm, partly cloudy skies gradually clearing for us across the region. As we head through the evening, skies will be clear. It will be another very cold night. Most of us back into the teens, but then we get that south wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that will result in our wind chills being back into the single digits. We're going to be warmer, and again, it's almost 10-degree climbs over the next few days. Upper 30s tomorrow, sunny, breezy, southwest winds gusting to 20. We're going to get some melting done. And then as we head into Sunday, around 50, upper 50s, low 60s, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we've got some showers, which will help wash your car, help wash the roadways as well. And then after that, we just kind of hang out seasonably and above normal here and there into the 50s and 60s. So, man, we've said it. I'll not say it anymore, I promise, but it is so wild to say. It's exciting that Monday's coming up. Yes. Can't wait for Monday at this point.
Absolutely. And coming up today at noon, we're making brown sugar banana cake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Jason Rintker from Stronghold Data joins us in the studio with an invitation to learn more about how to harness the power of AI.
Plus, Shannon Becker back in the studio with his big 3 stories of the week. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. Be back here Monday morning, a little warmer, a little wiser at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.